For the latest, we're joined by eNCA correspondent Sarah Coates, who is in Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for your time. Sarah, I can't even imagine or begin to imagine what it's like where you are. There's been reports of a total blackout, communication blackout, with not being able to access anybody in Palestine. What exactly is the situation?
Yeah, well, look, I'm here in Tel Aviv, but what I'm hearing from the ground there in Gaza is absolutely horrendous. It's been now 24 hours that this near complete blackout of communications has been underway. We are hearing reports that people simply cannot get in touch with their loved ones to find out if they are alive. Still, aid organisations working down in the Strip say that hospitals are collapsing, and as we've been talking about for the past few weeks, they say that medical supplies, food and water are nearly running out. It is an absolutely horrendous situation. Now, just a short while ago, the Israeli Defense Forces spokesperson reissued a warning to Palestinians in the northern part of the Gaza Strip to move south immediately, saying that your window to act is closing. Now, look, this is the IDF says it is moving to a new phase in the war, saying it will continue to work until a new order has been established. So you can really only imagine what is going on down there. There is complete darkness, there is no electricity, and there's complete darkness when it comes to communications. These people are simply walking around rubble in the dark as airstrikes continue, and the IDF says they will continue, and they will continue to intensify. We know that IDF troops and tanks are pushing further and further into the Gaza Strip, while the death toll is rising, as is the toll of people who've been injured.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you're telling me that things are going to intensify, you know, in my introduction, I spoke about how it's been possibly the worst kind of bombing that we've seen, the most intense that we've seen in recent days. I want to ask you about the United Nations General Assembly voting for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire. We do know that Israel and the United States voted no.
Well, look, that seems to have made no impact right now, this humanitarian vote. What we've seen today on the ground is really a worsening of conditions. As I said, aid groups are screaming out, saying that thousands of people could die in the next few days or the next few weeks if this isn't improved. A little earlier today, Israel did come out to say that it will be providing extra assistance and extra aid to the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. It is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. More than 2.3 million people live there. But so far today, it isn't believed that any trucks have come through that Rafah crossing from the Egyptian side into the Gaza Strip. And just to really put that into perspective, normally 500 trucks come through this Rafah crossing on a daily basis, bringing in vital goods and everyday goods like food and medical supplies. So with these kind of casualties and these kind of injuries, you can really only imagine what these doctors are working under, the conditions that they are working under. They say they're turning people away, saying that these hospitals are turning into graves. Look, it's just an absolutely horrendous situation. But look, I do need to add that on the Israeli side, Hamas continues to fire rockets into Israel. We've had many heavy barrages of rockets, even here in Tel Aviv, over the last couple of hours. While reports are coming in now, the little girl down in the south has died from cardiac arrest just from this stress of these constant sirens. So look, it is a horrendous situation either way you look at it, and really calls are just continuing to grow louder for a ceasefire, but the IDF says that simply will not happen. It says its aim is to eliminate Hamas.
Absolutely. I mean, whichever side you look at it, Sarah, it's a huge concern. And just very lastly, I mean, you have gone into detail, but in terms of the communication blackouts, have you been able to communicate with anybody that side, and have you succeeded? What is the situation around the communication?
Yeah, look, I've tried. I have sent a few messages to colleagues in the Gaza Strip and also on the south in the Israeli side. I haven't heard anything back. Look, this is pure speculation. It could be just due to the fact that they are just so overwhelmed with messages. I know what it's like working down in the south. I've worked on the Gaza border quite a lot. And down there, when you're under constant rocket fire and you're having to run to shelter, you only have 7 seconds on that Gaza border on the Israeli side to actually get to a shelter when these air raid sirens ring out. It simply could just be due to the fact, that these people are overworked and they're constantly under these air attacks. But certainly on the Gaza side, it is horrendous. These people, as I said, they say they cannot reach their families. Aid groups say they cannot reach their colleagues. So it's just a real mess. But just to quickly update you on one other issue, these hostages, there's just been a meeting between these hostage parents and families with the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They are calling for more pressure on the government. They're calling for the immediate release of these 229 people believed to be held underground in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli Prime Minister, he has just come out to vow that every possible thing that will be done, while Hamas has come out on its television channel Al-Aqsa saying that the price to pay for the large number of enemy hostages, he's talking here about Israeli hostages, is the release of every Palestinian hostage here in Israel. So look, it's an extremely messy situation, any way you look at it on every single front.
Absolutely, very messy and really tragic considering how many children have lost their lives. Thank you so much for that update. That is eNCA correspondent Sarah Coates, who is in Tel Aviv.